I wanted people to see my point of view, and I wanted them to experience what I was seeing.
When people go through this maze, I want them to walk out maybe with like 5% guilt.
I grew up in Miami. I had never been behind that fence, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna go down there and see what it's like.
It has everything to do with one person that believed that they could do it.
What our technology is doing is helping people to connect to their feelings, and how you feel is your reality.
It's really about, not only necessarily funding an idea, but making people believe that they can shape their community, make an impact, and contribute to positive change.
And through the weeks as we begin to work with them, you see them come alive. You see their shoulders go back and their heads come up. And the first time someone smiles at you, it just takes your heart away, it takes your breath away.
So I feel grateful, I'm excited to give them a bag, and they're excited to see me. So it's just a handoff blessing that we give them.
That's the beauty of this organization, is that it creates opportunities for people who may not be able to find them with the traditional grant-making process.
Whoever told me you would be in 2019 with a company like Zaytuna with women, and I would have said like never, but this is what I think right now. It's amazing.
Is this going to make an awesome change, an awesome difference? Is this going to impact someone's life in a very awesome way?
We need awesome people to ensure it evolves the way that we want it to, and not just in response to external pressures that are driving the development of the city.
One of my favorites we've had is two women who teach little girls in Liberty City how to become beekeepers.
A lot of the things we intended to teach them did come through. I think that they did build a lot of confidence from the beginning to the end of the program. We taught them about communication by looking at the bees. We taught them about community. We taught them about food security and food justice.
And what happens in communities in particular that have either limited resources or just aren't exposed to a broad depth of opportunities is we don't take advantage of the human capital. It isn't developed and as nurtured as it could be. The more that we can provide for these young people to experience, the more we expand their imagination and what they see possible for themselves.
When I read the email, I told my sister, oh my God, they think we're awesome. So I'm gonna do something unconventional. I'm gonna tell you to close your eyes. Imagine seeing a woman that is close to your age. She's panhandling on the side of the road, and when she turns around, unfortunately, she's bleeding through her clothes.
Every month, it's really a different dynamic of people that come in. These are all people trying to do something good. And at worst case scenario, we can help them at least by being a practice or a sounding board for them to practice their pitch, their speech, that they may go on to do bigger and better things even if they don't win ours.
I think that it's an incredibly inclusive organization because the only thing it asks is for you to contribute an idea. It doesn't ask for a proof of concept. It doesn't say, hey, what have you done? It really just says, fill this out, answer 5 questions. If we select you, you get to tell us, we get to meet you in person, and we make the decision that night.
The New York Times did an article a few years ago about the Awesome Foundation as a national organization, and they described the trustees, so the board members, as rogues giving to rogues.
I want to go fast before you run.
We're perhaps not changing lives dramatically, and we're perhaps not affecting large-scale issues fundamentally, but we are affecting societal and communal change.
We are able to provide free laundry and supplies to families in need and that are homeless. We give our blue bags, which are Help Her Period bags, and we give our Hygiene for All bags. So this is a big step for us because my dream is to literally provide hygiene, help, and hope to anyone that's in need.
Jesus, man, Jesus.
That to me is what makes me impassioned. So the individual person feeling empowered, not kind of beyond the scope of the project.
It's $1,000. Each of the trustees gives $100 a month to fund one project. Encourages people to be very creative. How do you completely fund a project for under $1,000? Takes a lot of innovation, good ideas, collaboration.
I think for this project, it is just what I needed. We finished purchasing the wood yesterday. You know, you're gonna have trash up 7 feet high around you.
I think the Debris Maze Challenge presents an innovative way for all Floridians to experience the impact that our environmental choices have on our daily life. It combines science with design, with a little bit of whimsy, and an experiential education format.
I have confidence that Miamians are up for the challenge. This project is one tool of many to try to educate, to try to inspire a cultural shift.
Aside from the funding and the monetary contribution, we hope that what we help elicit in our grantees is an increased sense of self-efficacy. So more so than whether or not you manage to fulfill the project. To me, the metric of success is whether or not you manage to change how you believe you can contribute to your community.
Another program that I just personally really love is the Anti-Youth Prison Pipeline. I was incredibly moved by Reverend Vanessa Tinsley's speech when she came to pitch.
So we take these young people who are at extremely high risk for adult incarceration, and they learn everything from email and resume making, so they have the skills they need to go out in the world, and they're ready for college or they're ready for the job market, and not just as busboys, but to do something that will really be meaningful with their lives.
I think the thing that I love most about it is that it's in the simplest ways that we can give people back their dignity. And that really, you know, moved me.
So the war broke out in Syria in 2011. It's very hard because we've never had to leave a country. We never, you don't ever think about having to leave your home. It's not something we planned for. We had to, all of us, me and the women here, all had to leave our homes unexpectedly, and without any planning, we just had to pack and leave. Coming here without a language, without a skill set is very difficult, so they need to have a way to make income, and so this was a great mix because they have the skill set to make great food, and there's a demand for it, and they need the employment, so it was a great, it was a match. With the unfortunate circumstance came out, a beautiful thing came out like Zaytuna.
This kitchen that has a bunch of refugee women that are coming in, cooking. They're cooking and they're making this delicious food, and now they're not only providing work for these women, they're providing a community for them, and now it's turning into this whole business.
This idea was a small idea when she came and saw us, and then less than a month later, we found that her food was being sold in Whole Foods. So what's terrific about that is we're able to see the short-term impact that we had, and then eventually, when she was able to scale, she had a long-term impact on the Miami community.
I still remember there was this one project, Frame It Up. The frames would not contain a picture, but they would be either hung or placed on a pole in and around Miami. To look at your community through a frame, you begin to acknowledge it for its beauty.
They gave me the funds, believed in the idea, and that kind of started a whole fire under me beyond the project. I got connected to other people in the community, and we started working on other projects. So I started hosting events, and I started the company I actually am a co-founder of now called Where By Us, and that literally started because of the Awesome Foundation.
Some of the biggest ideas have been launched off of $1,000. So I think it all depends on what your project is really about. We thought of reimagining the Intercontinental's digital wall so that every color, every shape, every movement that would be projected would correlate to a specific musical note. Whoever was watching the wall and listening to the music on their mobile phone would be able to hear and see everything in synchrony. When 100 people with awesome ideas have also received $1,000, that money doesn't stand alone. It stands in conjunction with every other idea that's ever been funded. So to me, it also means community, and it means the force of a collective voice.
Our innovation is that it takes the doctor out, and now an individual can do a stress test without a doctor being present, helping them to identify sources of stress in their life. The Awesome Foundation helped put us sort of on the map in Miami. You know, the people within the Awesome Foundation are great players in the Miami market, and so having the opportunity to get in front of them, share our idea, share what we're building, helped to create other opportunities down the road for us. So that was also helpful.
He was building a boat by hand. This is the oldest house in Miami, and he was teaching kids how to do it. So it was an amazing and incredible experience to follow him and the kids as they were building the boat.
Once the film was done, it got such great acceptance in the community. People that saw the film got interested in the Barnacle, which is a wonderful old historic property, and so it just went to a whole new level.
Having the support of the Awesome Foundation enabled me to understand that what I was doing was important. Even just a penny tells me that there's someone who cares and someone who believes in my idea.
If you already have an idea that you want to make happen, I think $1,000 is like, oh my goodness.
I hear potential. I really hear that there's something that you can make out of it. It's enough money that you can really form a plan, you can really get something rolling. $1,000 is a foot in the door.
It's a collective expression of our belief in someone's idea and their ability to make that idea happen.
When I hear $1,000, I hear hope.
When I hear $1,000, I hear 1,000 possibilities.
The $1,000 was that opportunity, and it was that lens through which people were asked to view their way of making this community more awesome.
I think that it's a bit of a risk, but that's part of the excitement, right?
So the $1,000 makes the funding accessible to all, and it levels the playing field. So if both of those grantees come to the Awesome Foundation and make a presentation, we treat them the same.
There isn't a limit to how much or how far Awesome Foundation can go in a city like Miami. I mean, and I think what's great about it is that there's so much left to do, so why not do it?
So having seen so many projects do so much with $1,000, when I think of $1,000, I think of optimism.